This video demonstration is regarding InDesign project number 6. We will begin by creating a document through InDesign. It's letter half, and the orientation will be landscape, if you notice. Facing pages does not matter, even though I have the facing pages checked in my example. Don't worry about that. And also margins, let's just set those to 0. And we'll say OK to that. Then we'll draw a frame, just with the frame tool, and we will place the MC ART DEPT file. Again, that will be downloadable from the Moodle site under this section. And you may choose to fit it, make sure you fit content proportionally, and then also fit the frame to window. This is not a frame to content. This is not important, but it will just help keep your space the most user-friendly. Now, in order to recreate this logo, as you see, it's very choppy looking. In order to recreate it by hand, we will use the pen tool. Illustrator has the pen tool, and it works exactly like it does here. That's the reason I'm actually showing you this in InDesign, because you will be able to use the pen tool probably more effectively by doing it this early in the semester. But like I said, it works the same way. The only thing, there are some different commands, and those will differ between the two programs. The first thing I would like to do is I want to lock the position, and that may or may not be in the instructions, but that's always a good idea so that you don't accidentally move this around once you begin tracing it. Now we'll select the pen tool, just click on it, make sure that it is the upper tool, not one of the 3 options below. And we will begin at any point. I usually begin in the left and move right, just because that's the way I was trained and is most comfortable to me. But if you are more comfortable tracing in a different direction, that's fine. Now for the M, all we do is click and let go for each of the points. And I'm going to change the line to be black. If you notice, the stroke was a gradient stroke in my program. But here we're just retracing the M. And obviously it's a very choppy looking M, so you really kind of visually split the difference between the white and the blue, or cyan color, I'm sorry, and just to get that. Now when you come back to your starting point, you'll get a small degree mark beside your pen tool, and you want that. That means that you're now closing the path. So we now have the M retraced. If you're not happy with where your points are, you go to the direct select tool and click right on a point, make sure it darkens the point before you move it, and then reshape the path that way. If you feel like you need to move one up or down, you can certainly do that. Once you're happy with the M, go back to the pen tool, and we're going to begin by, and I personally, again, this is where I start. On the C, I would start in the lower right. And I'm going to click and hold this time and drag away, actually drag in the direction that you want the curve to continue. So I created a little handle, and I know it's very hard to see here. As a matter of fact, I can go here to this shape, and let's see if it will let me unlock the position, and I'll move it down a little bit. Now I'll go back to the direct select tool, click on that, and click right there. Notice that there are 2 handles. This will allow me to continue shaping the point, or the path. Now notice how that I had clicked off the path and done some other things, and since I did not click back on the path, it did not connect that point I just created. So what you need to do is, whenever you need to reconnect to a path, you'll get a little slash mark. Now we've reconnected. Again, we're going to click, hold, and drag. Now I'm holding the shift key down. The reason being is that I know I want those handles to be tangent to this curve in that way. So I'm going to go about to the same position on the upper curve as I did the lower curve. And then now when I want to get to this corner, I just click and let go. Here I'll just click and let go for the straight top bar. Then I'm going to create the inner curves. I do the same thing that I did before, but I have to curve them this way. And I don't go as far this time with my curves. And again, you can manipulate these after you've finished drawing it. Again, let me go back to that. I get the little degree mark, the little circle, and that means that I close the path. So we now have the M and the C. Now, I want to also show you something that's probably not in the handout. I'm not looking at it right now. There is a layers palette. Under Window, Layers, you can go here and look and see that everything is currently on one layer. Now, what is a good practice will be to create layers. When you have a lot of objects that are overlapping and you might have difficulty getting to them, as you're creating those objects over the top of each other, you can put them on different layers. What we'll do here is we'll add a layer with the Create New Layer button. We're going to cut the objects that are on that blue layer and then make sure that we're on the red layer, and we're going to paste them. And I did the Command X, which is cut, and Command V, which is paste. The long way is obviously here, cut and paste. Now notice that they now have a red bordering around them, which means they're on that layer too. You can also double-click that layer and call this MC layer, and that way you'll always know what object is on there without having to go fish or turn it on or off. That also makes it easier. You can lock this layer. Instead of locking the position, you can just lock the layer as you work there. So the only layer you can manipulate at this point is MC layer. And I'm just going to reposition the M and the C. You can use your move tools on your keyboard as well as your mouse. Now, I'm happy with those. I do need to, and I'll do this later, fill these with white and take the stroke off of the value off the stroke so that it's just simply white with no stroke value. Here I'm going to lock these down, and then I'm going to create a new layer. Now, this layer will be the art department. And here we're getting into kind of a fun area, is you're actually having to retrace each individual thing to be done.